I've had some listeners that have been very vocal with me, and even some that have unsubscribed outright over my comments about Tony Khan. Just giving my honest opinion of Tony Khan. If you're a longtime listener, you know I used to suck the proverbial dick of AEW. But now, not so much. I call it like I see it, or at least how I feel it on the inside. And I know that has upset a lot of listeners. But I'm not the only one doing it. Facts are facts. In fact, pretty much everybody out there is criticizing Tony Khan's booking ability, except for the, 700,000 or so, give or take, that choose to watch AEW Dynamite and less so Rampage and Collision. Everybody's trying to tell him it's your booking, bro. It starts with the booking. Why don't you bring some other people in to help you out with this? People that know maybe a little bit more than you. But it seems like Tony Khan just doesn't want to do that. He wants to, this is his fig fed. He's playing with his toys. This is fun for him. This is his hobby. And he wants all the credit for it if it does good. I was listening to Keepin It 100 this week, and Disco and Konnan and Ben were talking about this exact situation and all the other people that are talking about this exact situation, and they gave their thoughts. Check out this clip.
You've got a Vince Russo, right? Eric Bischoff, you can say whatever you want about him, but he's the first guy and only guy to beat Vince head to head, okay? Nash, big star everywhere he went. Us, we're Cornette. He's been everywhere. He's a historian. We're all saying the same thing. We don't even listen to each other's shows. We don't even really talk to each other. We're all saying the same thing, bro.
It's all the same lesson, and then they don't want to hear it. So
it's fun. Let me tell you what's funny, Ben. Sometimes I'll read a quote from Bischoff, or sometimes I'll read a quote from Cornette, and that's what we're saying.
But this guy does not want to hear that, can do no wrong. And if he would have humbled himself and taken all the guys you just mentioned and once a week had them on payroll retainer to have a digital creative meeting and just flush out ideas, and then he can pick and choose and do what he wants. You got the gods of wrestling who are the bookers here that would give him a master's level education. Instead, he's been doing that since 6th grade at the lunch table. He knows.
So any fan that's been watching sports for a long time.
It's this simple. Look who he's learning from. He's learning from people the people that have never been trained to wrestle. Like that first level stage of and I'm like, how can you? Well,
and he's relying on cage match results. Come on.
But the thing is, he's paid for a brain trust around him. And are these guys who are legends trying to help and educate him, and it falls on deaf ears, or are they just not saying anything and collecting a check until it runs out?
Number one, number one turned into number two. When he didn't listen, then it turned into number two.
Rushed, bro.
You don't give a. Neither do I. Just pay me ATM too.
And I even tried to do a video, 8 nice things about AEW. It was going to be 10, but I couldn't think of 10. I could only think of 8 nice things to say. But I made a whole video, 8 nice things to say about AEW. Nobody watched the shit. Nobody cared. Nobody cares what people have to say. Also, because it was copyright banned for a while, AEW tried to take it down. It's nice things about you guys. Why are you fighting me on this? I had to dispute it, and then they rejected my dispute, and I had to come back and appeal that. And I think we're good now. I don't remember hearing if they rejected my appeal, but fuck AEW, fuck Tony Khan. Conan's right. Disco is almost right, kinda. Everybody's been saying it. Everybody that they mentioned there, the Cornettes, the Bischoffs, the Nashes, the Russos, Vince Russo even. Everybody's been telling Tony Khan that he needs to do better with his booking. Dutch Mantel, too. This is a known thing, and these are all smart people. But yet Tony Khan refuses. Let me take that back. I included Vince Russo in that, and I said these are all smart people. But most of them are smart people. And Tony Khan just outright refuses to let anybody help. Even on the outside, look, I can get why you wouldn't want to bring in. He attempted to bring in Jim Cornette. He tried. So to say, why don't you get a Cornette or something, Cornette didn't want nothing to do with it. That's why he talks about that NDA and stuff. When he first started AEW, they tried to bring in Cornette. Russo, I think, Tony Khan's a product of the dirt sheets, and the dirt sheets and internet have not been too kind to Vince Russo over the years. Now, Vince Russo, love him or hate him, was the head writer and creative behind the biggest boom period in the entire history of professional wrestling. You could say that wrestling makes more money now, so financially it's bigger than it's ever been, but wrestling was more pop culture back then. Everybody was a wrestling fan. Your fucking grandma had a WWF Attitude or a Austin 316 shirt. It was everywhere. Hot Topic, going to your school, all that shit. You don't see that around nowadays. You don't see people rocking Seth freaking Rollins shirts at your fucking church. It just doesn't happen. Russo was behind that. Now, everybody says, but he had the Vince McMahon filter. But Vince McMahon has not always batted 100 at his fucking creative efforts either, especially in his older age. So I think people discredit Russo, even though he wouldn't be my first choice either. But certainly, I think, he's somebody who, along with like a Cornette and a handful of others, where you can cherry pick ideas from, right? He might be somebody worth having on your board just to pitch ideas. Problem is he's so overbearing with the bro, and he just always, you know what I mean? Got to shove his opinion down your throat instead of just, here's my idea, whatever. But Russo's an option. Kevin Nash was on the booking team in WCW. He's been a top guy, like Konnan said, everywhere he's been. Top guy in the worst period, the lowest, the opposite of a boom period of professional wrestling. But no, I mean, even the NWO, the Outsiders, I mean, that popped WCW. So I don't think Nash is necessarily a genius either. But look, all of these guys, he's got people in his own camp that he could be bringing in. Look, Jeff Jarrett, I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I'm at the point where I'm saying, give Jeff Jarrett the pencil, or bring him in at least to fucking give more ideas or something. I've never been a Jeff Jarrett fan, and I'm not even a particular fan of his booking style necessarily. He'll give himself the title and fucking run through everybody like he didn't. No, he won't do that. But, Jeff's got the experience and the knowledge that Tony doesn't. At the end of the day, look, there's so many people, and you heard Konnan say it too. Ben was talking, and he's like, do these people just, he's got all these people around him. Do they just not care, or does Tony not listen? And Konnan said they cared at first, and then Tony didn't listen to them ever, so they stopped caring. So yeah, now it's just a paycheck. That's what it is. Tony refuses. This is his toys, people. You have to understand that. I mean, it doesn't matter if only 700,000 people, 800 on a good day, if you have video footage of CM Punk that you want to re-air. But you only have that many people that actually care or like your product enough to watch it. Those people love Tony Khan's booking because Tony Khan has a very specific booking way of booking shit. Oh, that's a cool match I want to see. Let's... Tell me when I'm telling lies. That's how he books, and that's more so... You can't tell me because he's on the internet 24/7 at 4 a.m, fucking snorting rails and shit. He knows this criticism. It's not that this has not reached Tony Khan's ears. It's that he doesn't care. He doesn't want to hear it. Well, with all due respect, fuck you, because I own this. These are my toys. I'm going to play with them how I want to play with them. I've been writing this shit in my notebooks ever since I was fucking, you hear like the really bad interviews that are like, gee, Tony, how did you become such a great booker? And you go, well, it's a really great question. I'm glad you asked. I've been writing in my notebooks since I was 12. Cool. So if I had a fig fed when I was a kid, it was a dope fig fed too. I thought I ran that shit pretty well. But I don't think that I could run a nationally televised, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to put a booking team around me at the very least. Tony can be the final boss, so to speak, right? To borrow a phrase from our good friend Dwayne. Tony can be the decider. He can sit at the head of that table and hear everybody's opinions and go, we'll do that. Or we'll do that, but we'll do that with a touch of this guy's thing too. He can do that, but he doesn't need to just, I mean, he's losing it. And I know, look, like I said, I started this by saying, you know, I offend and I piss off and I turn off my AEW diehards. And I am aware of this. I'm hyper aware of it. I get it. But I'm also not going to sit and pander to you fuckers either. You know the product sucks. How can you sit and say, oh, this is, I mean, it's great that it's great for you. You don't think it sucks. You like it. That's awesome. And at the end of the day, you know what? If that's your favorite flavor of wrestling ice cream, fucking eat it up, bro. Eat it up. The reason why I criticize it is not to take the piss out of what you like or say that you like something stupid, because I get why you would be defensive about that. It's because AEW started on TV with over 1 million viewers. So that means that there is a potential of over 1 million people that will watch this show, or that would have watched this show, or were curious about enough to give it a try. They immediately lost viewers, and that it has been continuing to go down. 700,000 is a good number for them now. 800,000 if they have CM Punk on. It's a miracle if they get 800,000. That's so bad. That's so bad. Where are all those people that don't? There's people that they just look, man. WWE gets between 1 and 3 million, depending on what show. 2.5, 2.5 usually where they're chilling. Yes, they're more established and everything, but so what? WCW beat them in the ratings when they came from behind, and they were way less established. It just is what it is, man. Something's got to change there, and the fact is that Tony Khan refuses to do the changing. It's him. It's always been Tony. The problem is Tony. It's Tony, guys. It's not the wrestlers. They have a fantastic roster, one of the best rosters in the history of wrestling. They have some banger matches that will fucking just slaughter anything WWE tries to put out. Match quality, right? But people still don't care. So clearly match quality isn't in dream matches and what's the next big dream match and oh, they had a really great match. That's not enough. That's not getting people to tune in. And Tony seems to just keep wanting to double down on that. Well, if I can hire more great talent and I can put together more great dream matches, great, the people will come and they will want to see this big epic dream match. No, they won't. Nobody's come to see Edge. Nobody's come to see Sasha. Nobody. Will Ospreay actually is drawing a little bit, and I think that's, a huge credit to him. It's Tony, and it's the Young Bucks to a lesser extent as well. We've noticed this lower dip after CM Punk left, and that's because people finally saw through what was going on. They started to hear this, the Young Bucks are doing this and that. And that was something that, because before that, it was all friends wrestling. Everything's great. It's great here. Everybody's happy. This is fucking, the happiest place on earth. It's Disneyland. And then not so much. Shit started coming out. And it was a lot of bucks fucking around backstage. If you're on their side, cool. If not, then Ricky Starks, where's he been? There's problems. The overinflated roster, bad booking. Let's fix it, guys. Come on. We know what the problem is. Tony just refuses to fix it, and that's the problem. Not to mention, but he continues to go out and embarrass himself on top of all of that by, the neck brace and the fucking Twitter rants and everything else that he gets himself into. I don't know, man. I want them to do better. Like I said, I used to suck their dick. I loved AEW when they first came out. I needed AEW because Vince had basically killed the wrestling business for me. I didn't watch WWE anymore. I didn't care about Vince McMahon's fucking 75, 80-year-old vision for what wrestling should be. It was atrocious. It was the worst, most god-awful show on TV. And then along comes this breath of fresh air with all these great indie talents that haven't been discovered yet or you've heard of, but now are going to get this national exposure. And you're like, wow, okay. And then there's guys coming over that never really got their full potential or their full fair shake in WWE. And you're like, my God, say less. I'm here for it. But now that WWE is good, and it is a bit of fair weatherness going on there to some extent, but also I think Tony's just burnt out as a booker, and that new car smell has worn off of AEW, and people aren't so, they don't have that goodwill just inherent with the fans anymore. Now they have to start putting out a product that's going to do it. And I think Tony just thinks, well, we have really good wrestling matches. Oh, we have stories. The Learning Tree, Chris Jericho. He's trying to woo Hook, but Hook ain't having it. The Elite. They're taking over. Haven't seen that before. We're taking over. They're straight up ripping off the Blue World Order. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down in those comments below. I'd really love to hear what you think. And if you are one of those AEW fans and you do still listen to me, I appreciate you. Thank you. I hope you don't take it personally. I want them to succeed because it's healthy for the wrestling business. I want them to be hot again, quite frankly. But that's why I'm so hard on them, because they're just fucking it up. And everybody and their mom on the internet sees it and sees why. Because they're all saying the same thing. Every last one of them saying it's Tony Khan and his booking. But he won't change because it's his toys. Bro, thanks for checking out the video. You can find more great videos by hitting the subscribe button. And bro, while you're down there, hit that like button, leave a comment, and all of that other crap. Bro.